This practice piece is the first of 3 goals in week 5. You're to spend $25 in theory at Twiggs, and what you need to consider when you're doing this is that you have to add the harmonized sales tax, or the HST, and you also need to add a tip. And when you round those two off, they total 30% approximately. It's actually 13% for the HST and then another 15% for the tip. So you can see here we've got our list of items and then the cost of each before tax. And in order to find the cost of each, you'll need to use the link through the LMS to get to the Twiggs menu. And so I've already found that a cafe latte is $30.50. Whoa, yeah, $3.50 right here. A Montreal smoked meat sandwich, which I've already included in the chart, is $4.50. And I need to add the cost of a large Energizer drink. Now, when you're doing this, you get to pick your items. You want to keep them below $19 for the reason that you still need to add the taxes. So the Energizer drink's going to be $4.70, and I will add that right here. And then I need to spend a little bit more money. So I'm going to buy a pepperoni pizza. And if I look here, I can find that the pizza is $6.65. So in the cost column, I just type in $6.65. And now I'm ready to add up my total. So I'm going to put in my calculator $3.50. That's going to be added to $4.50. So $3.50 plus $4.50. And then I'm going to add that to $4.70. And finally, I'm going to add $6.65 to that. And I end up getting a total of $19.26. So that's the cost that I put in at the bottom where it says total cost before tax. Now the second piece that we need to do is we need to actually calculate the 2 additional costs. So we take the first one we'll do is the cost with PST. So we're going to take our $19.26. And we need to multiply that by 13%. We learned earlier in the course that 13% is the same as 13 over 100. So we're going to take $19.26 and times it by 13 over the fraction of 100. And as soon as you have a fraction like that, 13 over 100, that just means 13 divided by 100. So what you could punch into your calculator now is $19.26 times 13 divided by 100. So 1926 times 13 divided by 100. I get a total of $250. Okay, let's try this another way. $19.26. If I wanted to just write 13 divided by 100 as a decimal, we find that that's equal to 0.13. So to simplify things a little bit, I'm now going to punch that into my calculator as $19.26 times 0.13. And I get a total of $2.50 needing to be added to my total, okay, of $19.26. But that's not the only amount I need to add to my total. So before I do any adding, I'm going to take my $19.26, and now I need to find 15% of that for what is considered a reasonable tip. Now, like I said, Twiggs isn't a place where you always tip unless you're sitting down, you know. So 1925 times 15, and remember 15% is 15 divided by 100. So we could put in 19.25 times 100, or times 25 divided by 100. What am I doing here? 1926 is our amount, not 1925. So we're going to change those. So instead of punching in 19.26 times 15 divided by 100, which would be perfectly fine, I'm going to go 19.26 times 0.15. Just for the reason that 15 divided by 100 gives us the decimal of 0.15. And then we're going to continue on, and when I put 19.26 times 0.15 into the calculator, I get a total of $2.89 needing to be added to our cost. So just for ease of reading and following of math language, you'll notice that we give yourself a check mark in your answers if you're putting one equal sign below the next. That makes for good communication. Give yourself a check mark if you're putting a title on the work that you're actually following so that you're communicating purpose. We know here that this is, whoa, that is not our total cost with PST. Haha. So we're not done calculating according to that title. Total cost with tip. Well, you got 1926 times 15%. You've got an equal sign below each one, and each line below the next is equal to the one above it. We've just done some math operation to it, or some math work. What I do when I need to start a new line and I run out of space below is I just show the continuation up above like this. Okay, so now we need to continue our thinking here and take that $2.50 and add it to the $19.26 to get a total. So we've got $19.26, and we're going to add that to $2.50. You need an equal sign before all of that. And we're going to find, when we punch that into the calculator, that we get a new total of $19.26 plus $2.50. So our $19.26 plus $2.50 gives us a total of $21.76. So now we have our total with $21.76. And this is why the comment has been made on a lot of your work that, you know, you want a therefore statement. So therefore, the cost including HST is $21.76. So up here, this should read, in fact, HST. This should not be PST. It's harmonized sales tax now. They've made a switch. Okay, so now what we've got to do is we're going to take the cost with HST and we're going to add it to our $2.89 tip. So we'll go, we'll actually start a new step here and go, oh, actually we can do that here. Total cost including tip and, ooh, PST. What is that? HST. Okay, so we're going to take our $21.76, which is our total cost with our tip so far, but we haven't added, or with the HST, $21.76, and to that we're going to add $2.89. Notice I'm using correct dollar notation, which most of you are doing. It's totally awesome, man. You're separating dollars from cents with your decimal. So we've got, for example, $2.89 that we've just keyed in here, and now we're going to add them. $21.76 plus $2.89. So you can see here the process of solving a math question. It doesn't move quickly, right? And notice I'm having to constantly go back and correct my own mistakes and just find small errors in numbers I've typed or whatever. So the total cost, woo, we got just under 25 bucks. So let's tell our reader that clearly. So therefore, the cost with tax and tip at Twiggs is $24.65. Now, as I look back over and I say, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I notice that I haven't clarified here what I found. And I've noticed that my title here isn't quite right? Because this isn't the cost with the tip. This is just the tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my title to the tip or just plain tip. So I'm going to, if I had an eraser that worked on this, I would use it. So I'm just going to go tip. And I'm going to put it there for a statement just to clarify because things are getting a little messy. So the tip added would be $2.89. And I'm going to show off 15% tip. Boom, done.